One, if I could, I would nail these hands to the edges of stars. I would sacrifice this body to the sky, hoping to resurrect as someone spiteful enough to not care this much about you. Two, staple me to a cross, pierce my side with a broken promise, and I will bleed all the reasons why you deserve one more chance. Three, loving you was the last thing I felt really good at. Four, you want to know how I got these scars? Well, I ripped every last piece of you out of my smile. 5, I whispered you stardust. 6, I spoke you into sunflower. 7, I dipped my hands in forever. I touched you infinity, treated you as if you were the last molecule of oxygen inside of a gas chamber. I was good to you. 8, you want to know how I got these scars? I swallowed my pride. Then it clawed its way out of my mouth. 9, I realized that I was never really your boyfriend. I was your hype man. 10, hope your next boyfriend gets smallpox. 10, yes, I said smallpox. 10, I hate you. 10, but I still miss you. 10, and I still love you. 10, and I still love you. 10, and I still love you. 10, it's hard for me to count when I get emotional. 10, I heard that over 90% of human interaction is nonverbal, so 10.
The first love of my life never saw me naked. There was always a parent coming home in a half hour, always a little brother in the next room, always too much body and not enough time for me to show him. Instead, I gave him my elbow, the bend of my knee. I lent him my corners, my edges, the parts of me I could afford to offer, the parts I had long since given up trying to hide. He never asked for more. He gave me back his eyelashes, the back of his neck, his palms. We held each piece we were given like it was a nectarine, might bruise if we weren't careful. We collected them like we were trying to build an orchard. And the places he never saw, the ones my parents had labeled private parts, when I was still small enough to fit all of myself and worry inside a bathtub, I made up for them by handing over all the private parts of me. There was no secret I didn't tell him. There was no moment we didn't share. We didn't grow up, we grew in, like ivy wrapping, molding each other into perfect yins and yangs. We kissed with mouths open, breathing his exhale into my inhale and back. We could have survived underwater or outer space, living only off the breath we traded. We spelled love, G-I-V-E. I never wanted to hide my body from him.
I'm not worthy of relationships. See, I am a mere fallible mortal who wants to be mummified by the bandages of unconditional love. On condition that its condition has no conditioncy, I have found that being patient, caring, loving, romantic, and innovative is not enough to be equally loved. Since it is believed that gentlemen no longer exist, this is the gist of the twist. Instead, being violent is what I need to be. Seeing the statistics of rape and disease thoroughly outnumber the trees. See, these are the norms that are part of the breeze that we breathe. I am not worthy of relationships. Ships that sink to the currents of society's expectations. Ships that follow the social norms and fail to handle the waves of the storm. Ships that sail without compasses and encompasses predefined roles of boyfriend and girlfriend, but lack the friend in both roles. Ships that are packed with forbidden fruits, open to be eaten by any who board them. I am not worthy of relationships. Polluted institutions constituting of individuals who know not themselves. Individuals whose individuality has been compromised and justified with, I have been told my standards are too high. So I thought that I should let it slide and chill out a bit, you know. I was told I would never get hitched since the people that I seek do not exist, so I thought I could afford to take the risk by dropping the standard. Yes, I am not worthy of relationships. Relationships are comprised of people whose first national port of call is to check what you are driving instead of whether you are driven. Relationships are comprised of people who check the dress code instead of your code of life, the shoes on your feet instead of whether or not you are in control of your soul. I am not worthy of relationships. Yes, relationships that fail to pass on tools that are conducive to growth, but instead strip me naked of love and patience. That affects and defects my perception of the opposite sex, like those music videos that only show booty. And thinking that all men are dogs. Yes, I'm not worthy of relationships because I am a relationship, because, you know, it starts with me. But most of all, it's because I'm married to Jesus Christ. Thank you.
We pledge allegiance to your flag of the United States of America and to your republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for who? For you? For some? Not for us, not for our people. So please stop saying we equal with your flag of red, white, and blue in one hand. You beat us until we're black and blue with the other, beat us until we're none, beat us until we can't walk straight. Then you put us in chains if we lucky. But for the ones of us who aren't so lucky, you tell us to put our hands up as some type of sick tribute to your privilege. And then you pull the trigger until our bodies lay down on your ground. Pull the trigger until your clip is empty. Pull the trigger until we make your evening news. And then when our children cry, we have to look our children in the eyes and tell them that they have to be cautious. That when they walk your streets, they have to do so in fear, that they have to spend an entirety of their life looking over their shoulder, because you will hunt them down and you will bury them, either in a prison system that aims to disenfranchise them or the dirt beneath their feet. And this is all because of that same racism that you love to say no longer exists. But we all know that same racism is the reason that when we want to put a hood on, we resist. The reason that when we go to get these jobs, we're dismissed at the door. The reason that when we go to shop, we're watched in your stores. That racism is the reason that us saying your Pledge of Allegiance feels a lot like a root canal, or a whip's impact against our flesh, or a baton to our head, or a bullet in our back, or tear gas at a Black Lives Matter protest. That racism is the reason that 3 women clenched their purses as I walked through the entrance of this very building. It hurts that I have to remember that the system I was born into was built to work against me. Hurts that I have to remember. Hurts that I have to remember. Hurts that I have to... Hurts that I actually have to remember that you will happily invest more money into the preservation of wildlife than you ever will into the preservation of black life. Let me ask y'all a question. When y'all turn on your TVs and witness another black body laid out on your concrete, what do y'all see? Another murder? Another sad story? Another funeral? Do you see the aftermath? I see another child that lost their father, another single woman trying to raise a man, another broken home which leads to another child that grows up and suffers the same fate as their father, which means another black woman that outlives her adolescent son. This country practices a culture that lacks equal rights for blacks, and we love to say that black don't crack. Meanwhile, y'all shatter our melanin like glass. My back breaks for everybody you lay at our feet, for every memory I try to erase within your war zones. Late nights reveal that my PTSD has found its way to the surface. And my hate for this country reminds me that I'm far from patriotic, so it's a little ironic that I pledge allegiance to your flag of the United States of America and to your republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for who?
Please line up at our political stands to buy the latest version of our political scans. Perfectly packaged in their political cans, all different types of one political brand. So we only come to you to be political and every couple of years to do political dance. Do we speak? No, we play political bands to distract the crowd from our political plans. And that steal is part of our political pact. I mean, everybody else does, it's a political fact. And my family needs these political stacks. That's why I keep up with this political act. Oh no, now that shit has hit the political fan, what will we tell the political fans? Because we've lost the grip of our political man, and now he's making the president a political ass. Oh no, they've awoken the political mass, and now we can't sneak behind their political backs or bribe them anymore with political snacks. Even the whites have a political stance, if only to protect their political rants. So, how many blacks is a white life worth? Because when black people march, then it's bullets they resort to, and how many lies can you fit into our words? They say we don't want to learn when we're fighting to afford to. And for how much time will your politics work? If you're silent now, we will no longer support you, and you can go back and tell the old politicals that the youth have taken shit in their political